In every city, there are OGs or originals, the ones who used to break outside on the concrete before the energy drink sponsorships or even the Olympics. The ones who've seen the highs and the lows of breaking and hip-hop, who held down the culture for decades, never wavering but adapting to the trade winds of change, always finding their way back to the top. I can only assume that if hip-hop started in New York, it was sure to have roots in Boston, both cities sharing that inner-city grit that birthed our culture. Today, we have one of the founders of the world-renowned hip-hop crew, the Floorlords, who celebrated their 43rd anniversary this year. This matriarch of Boston hip-hop was also a professional dancer, DJ, successful entrepreneur, amongst many other things, who in 2015 decided to retire or move to Hawaii. But like any true hip-hop head, there is no retirement. He now DJs weekly and mentors the next generation of B-boy, B-girls, and DJs. With all the aloha, I'd like to welcome my friend, mentor, DJ, Leanskee, Lino Delgado. What up, brother?
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm just chilling, man.
Yeah.
Just relaxing.
I love that you came in. You know what I mean? People are probably wondering like, yo, I thought this is Hawaii hip-hop. But I'm like, you've been here a decade. You're Hawaii hip-hop now.
If you want to say so,
Yeah.
you know, for me, the respect for Hawaii and the culture is, you know, I'm an outsider.
Right.
So, you know, coming here wasn't even something that was even planned. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even a retirement. I actually saw a sign.
Okay.
That
My bad on the retirement part.
You know, I just saw it, and I was just like, oh my God, like, you know, like, what is this? And I made the move. You know, the move here was a mental, physical, and spiritual move for me. You know. So,
Right. You're moving from Boston.
Yeah.
What was it like in Boston at the time that made you make that move?
It wasn't things were going great.
Oh.
You know, I was real busy. I was doing a lot of different things. You know, I owned 2 houses back home with my ex. I had started a nonprofit. I was 2 years into this nonprofit, like working with kids. I've always worked with kids.
Right.
Since I was like 13 years old, that's been like my thing was sharing, you know, with the young generation. So I was, you know, my crew was, you know, up and just doing things, doing events, battling. We were doing everything, you know. Like I said, you know, I came here about 17 years ago on vacation. Got in contact with some of the B-boys, did a workshop.
Did you know anybody from Hawaii at that point? Any B-boys, hip-hop artists?
No. I knew there were B-boys because I would go to the Rock City reunion, and they had B-boys that would come. I mean, I don't remember the names. I think Skilroy was one, Leonard was another one, and they might have had someone else. But I didn't really, you know, like I would just go to the anniversary. I wasn't really like, you know, thinking. Plus, I already knew there was different islands.
Right.
So I didn't know which island I was on. I didn't know which island they were from. You know what I'm saying? They would just say, you know, B-boys from Hawaii. So I knew there were B-boys, but I didn't think I was on that island, you know.
So you came here, was that 18 years ago?
No, about 17 years ago.
17 years ago, on vacation, strictly vacation.
Yeah, strictly vacation.
And then how'd you get in touch with somebody from the scene?
I went on MySpace.
Yeah.
MySpace, and I got in contact with Solid at the time. And he had me...
and Solid was with 808 Breakers.
Yeah, he was actually, I think he was like the leader at the time
Right.
of 808 Breakers at that time. And he asked me to come do a workshop with him and his crew, was a few of them. So we went and did a workshop. And then after the workshop, they were like, you should come do your events here. And I was like, what? Like looking at them like, how they know about my events? You know, like I was kind of tripping.
Right.
And it was in Kaka'ako. It was at at Boogie Down Studios.
Yeah.
That's where it was. That's where the workshop was. So I was, you know, even driving in that neighborhood back then, you know, like, yeah, I drove through downtown to get there, but I was on the highway, straight on the highway, got off, you know, went straight there. And back then, even there was like mad industrial back then.
Yeah, 25th, was that 20, no, was that 20, what year was that?
I don't remember. It's like 17 years ago.
What is 7? I can't even do the math right now.
I ain't even.
Yeah, it wasn't what it is now. Put it that way.
Yeah, it wasn't what it was now. Like, yeah, that studio was there. They had like a little store there downstairs, I think. But that was it. Actually, I don't even think the store was there.
Quite like a bar.
I don't remember what it was, but I remember it was just like.
So this is 2007.
Yeah, like 2007. Okay. I think it was 2006.
6, and then 7 you came back to do the jam.
Yeah, I think 2000.
So did people come out to that class that you did with
Yeah,
Solid?
it was a bunch of dancers. I don't remember who they were. I don't think like Jack and them were in that class.
Right. How old was Jack? Did they graduate from high school? I don't even know. It's all a blur. 2000s is a blur.
Yeah, it's a blur. It's a blur to me. You know what I'm saying? Like this time here for me, I felt is like I said earlier. It's like a physical, mental, and spiritual like move. So to me, my life is more about sharing, and it's always been about sharing.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So it's never been about me. It's always been about sharing with the younger generation. I didn't know what I was moving here for.
Right.
Like I just know the sign was like something that was just like, you got to move it. It wasn't just me seeing it by myself. It was my ex at the time seeing it.
Right.
So it wasn't like I just was like, yo,
let's go to Hawaii.
Nah, And the craziest thing is, one of the moments that really was like, yo, we gotta make a move. Was we would be here for 2 weeks. So we was here for 2 weeks. No, we were here for 2 weeks. Then we went to Maui. And back then, like this was like 11 years ago. Back then, we tried to do a couple of things in Maui, but it just didn't work out. It didn't pan out. You know what I'm saying? So Honolulu was always like the spot to come back and do events.
Yes.
We were trying to do stuff in Maui, but the scene was just too small.
Yeah, it's always been like that.
It was just really small. And it wasn't like we were trying to do it for the money. You know what I'm saying? I had like all these connections, and I just had hookups. I always had sponsors. Right. So I always had sponsors that would help. So it wasn't like we were going over there to do it, but just no one would show up. And I still had to like send these sponsors pictures.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Video. So I was like, oh, we can't do nothing here. I can't show. They won't support it no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I looked at it. So then, like about 11 years ago, that's when we kind of like made the move. Like we kind of like was like, you know what, we got to make this move. But it was this guy Casey and this guy Reggie.
Okay.
And I think the kid's name was Rick. So they're two b-boys.
Okay.
They're b-boys from Hawaii.
Okay.
From Maui.
Oh, Maui.
From Maui, right? That we used to practice with
them.
Right. We would go hang out.
Do they have the b-boy? What's their b-boy names?
Casey and Reggie.
Casey and Reggie.
The craziest thing was I haven't seen Casey ever since then.
Oh.
And he came for 808 Breakers anniversary this year.
What?
I haven't seen
What crew did they roll with in Maui?
I don't remember. Like
Interesting.
It was just them two, really.
Okay.
I really didn't even know.
Yeah, that was a big lull because Maui had a peak. I used to go up there to DJ in Maui maybe like early 2000s. It was like a peak. There was a bunch of crews up there, and Maui was hot for a minute. MCs.
Yeah, I heard they were like one of the illest like breaking crews.
Yeah, and then I think only Kid Karma is he might be the remnants of all of that. He's like the lone b-boy, I think.
No, they have a few. They have a few. There's a couple other guys out there.
Oh, word.
This other kid, man, what is his name? And I need to, because he does a lot of amazing work, and he's doing a lot of work in Lahaina, so I can't mess up his name.
Yeah, definitely.
And I got to look for it because I got to shout him out. What is his name? And I've been.
Well, there's a b-boy crew back in the day, not back in the day. 2000s is back in the day, I guess now. They had the dopest b-boy crew name. It was the Malasada Superheroes.
Yeah,
Shout out to the Malasada Superheroes in Maui.
Oh, it's Noah.
Okay, Noah
Clark. Yep. Noah's doing amazing.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen him a couple jams here.
Yeah, he comes here. He comes
Shout
here, but
Noah.
He's doing amazing. He's doing workshops outside.
Oh, word.
He's from Lahaina, so, he's doing amazing.
So before you guys decided to make that move out here in 2015, 14, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to 2007, 2008. So you did the class with Solid, and what was your impressions of Hawaii at that time? The b-boys at that time.
They were pretty good.
Anybody you remember? No.
Nah, I don't remember.
Nobody, okay.
I don't remember. I don't think a lot of those b-boys are around.
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
You know, I think like a lot of those guys, like 808 just switched because then I came back
Right.
like a few years later. You know, I
Yeah.
came back that year after, and we tried to do an event, and,
Right.
it didn't happen. Then
Okay.
I came back and did another event, and then it started happening.
What was that? What was that event that when it started popping off? Was that the United States?
No, it was Shadow Styles.
Oh, Shadow Styles. Okay.
Yeah, so we did Shadow Styles for a few more years.
Right.
You know,
But that was with
Mason.
Mason. Yeah. Shout out to Mason.
Me and Mason, we you know, he wanted to do something.
Right.
And I ended up doing it with him.
Right,
So
right.
he had I think his name of his event was Shadow Wars.
Yes.
And mine was United Styles. So we took
Ah,
Shadow
okay.
and Styles.
So Shadow Styles happened before the United Styles jam.
No, it happened after.
After,
We
so
did
you did-
United Styles first.
First.
And then we tried to come back and do it the year after, but we couldn't connect.
Right,
you know
right,
what I'm
right.
saying? Like there was younger b-boys. They really didn't know
Yeah.
how to like talk to people. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right,
I
right.
had made those connections like myself
Yeah.
the first time. Like I came
right.
here, I made, you know, connections and we made it happen. But that year, you know, was like
How was that?
I didn't have a connection with people.
the community, the
like
the greater community
like
yeah.
that, or someone who could talk to a club and to really set something up.
So how did that first United Styles go?
Oh, it was amazing.
That was
amazing.
at Fresh Cafe?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
at Fresh Cafe, and man, we were kind of tripping because we weren't really expecting like some of the other islands to come over. And I
Right.
remember Pink Pebbles came through
Right.
and was killing it from
Kauai,
Kauai.
yeah, definitely.
They actually made it to the finals. And we were like looking at the battles. And I was hosting at the time, and I was like, oh man, like these guys are going off.
Oh yeah, they came
You
out of
know,
nowhere, man.
No, but we were kind of tripping on everyone.
Right.
You know, we were like, oh, these guys are dope.
Right.
You know, the scene was smaller, but it was still, you know, the people that came out, the people that came to support.
Yeah.
Families that came to support was big to me.
Right,
A lot of the
right.
hip hop heads came out. Like to this day, you know, I get people that were at that jam.
Yeah.
You know, like Bo, who's like, you know, one of the
Yeah.
prime, you know,
Shout out to Bo Seth.
hosts, DJs, you know, 808 breakers. Like he was just there.
Yeah.
He wasn't even a part of their crew. You know what I'm saying? Just coming in. And
Yeah, I think was that the the third generation of 808?
I think they're like third generation.
Yeah, third generation, yeah.
They're like third generation.
So besides Pink Pebbles, any other Hawaii B-boys or B-girls that stood out at
Like
that time?
808.
Was it Bomb D back then before BRK? Or-
Yep.
I think they were called Bomb D.
Yeah, Bomb D. It was Bomb D.
Before BRK, yeah.
It was before, yep. And then it was 808.
808, yeah.
I forgot who else.
Oh, Red Eye Jedis, did they
Red Eye
enter?
Jedis.
Red Eye, yep.
Yep. And I forgot who else. I forgot. I mean, this is a long time.
Right, yeah.
Man, I can't even. You know how many crews and battles
That you've been to.
my man.
So the finals of that battle was Pink Pebbles and
Battleborn.
Battleborn, which Battleborn has guys from the neighbor islands that live in Vegas now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And Battleborn took it.
Battleborn took it.
That was dope. So you guys tried to do it again the next year, and it kind of just fizzed.
Fizzed out. And then we started
Shadow.
doing Shadow Styles. Me and Mason started doing Shadow Styles.
And after you finished the Shadow Styles, how many years after that until you moved to Hawaii? That was about 5 years later.
Oh, I was still doing Shadow Styles when I moved here.
Oh, you still?
We did Shadow Styles for years. Like we
Wow.
did Shadow Styles. I've been doing events here for a long time.
Right.
We did maybe about 5 Shadow Styles.
Oh, that's right.
Now
right.
we're on like our 6th.
Because Mason's from Australia.
Yeah.
Professional bodyboarder. That's how I knew of him. I didn't even know he's into hip hop. I was like, isn't that the bodyboarder?
Yeah. I mean, Mason knew my nephew because he flew him out to his event
Right.
in
And who's your nephew?
Australia.
Who's your
My
nephew?
nephew is B-Boy El Nino.
Nice. Legend.
You know, so he knew my son. He
Right.
knew a lot of different people. But the thing was, when I would do events here, like prime B-boys would want to come. You know what I'm saying? So when I did that second event, Nasty Ray came, K-Mel came. Actually, K-Mel was staying here. Who else came? Ray, my son, my nephew.
I mean, right there.
Yeah, it was so.
K-Mel and Ray. That's dope.
Yeah. And we brought one of the other little ex-mob kids was here too. Ray Sean,
Oh, nice.
you know, he was here too. He was like amazing. Like he was a crazy little b-boy at the time too. You know, so every year we, you know, that was my thing. Was like, okay, so now we know that people can come here.
Right, right,
people
right.
will come to Hawaii.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it was always about inspiring the younger generation, inspiring wherever we went for people around them to be better, to get better. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I always did my events. My events weren't really for like for us. They were more to inspire the community. So
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me, when I came here, it was like more. When I did events, was like that. It was like, let me inspire the b-boys here so they can get better, they can grow, they can see outside of, you know, because you can see
Right.
things online. But then I would do workshops with some of the best b-boys. Every b-boy that I brought, I did workshops so they can get better. They can learn from them, you know, because that's what I did back home. Everything I did back home, I just try to do here
Yeah.
for the b-boys here to get inspired. You know what I'm saying? And get better and better. And it's crazy because, you know, I look at it all these years, and to me, this is my favorite scene in the world.
Nice. What differs Hawaii's scene from other scenes that you've been to?
I just think it's the culture, the way the people are here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The people here in Hawaii, and I'm not just talking about like this island. I'm talking about all the islands. They're just special people, man. Like they're you know, they're just really the culture is really about love, respect,
Yeah, definitely.
and sharing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could never go without eating anything here.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you didn't have food, I see people give, you know, people on the street food.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't get that everywhere.
Yeah,
You know
definitely.
what I'm saying? Like I know if I was to not have any money,
Right.
you know, I know someone to feed me.
Yeah.
Even if they, you know what I'm saying? Like that just comes natural.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Even if they don't have it,
Yeah.
they'll figure it out how we
Yeah.
eat. We eat together.
Yeah. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's just that the dance community is really about the dance. The music scene here is, you know, in all the elements, is super talented. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
from the DJs, the graffiti artists or writers,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? The DJs, the MCs, like you have all the elements here, and everyone is really about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even the younger generation,
Right,
you know,
right,
even
right.
the young generation is really when they put their mind to it, it's just like it's just, I don't even know what it is, man. You know, I think you could explain that more than anyone because you grew up here.
Right,
you know
right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So I would like to hear that from you. Like,
I
what do
think
you
it
think
really
is?
is just apart from the hip hop. It's just the Hawaiian culture. Growing up, you don't have to be Hawaiian blood. It's just the culture of Hawaii in general. The people make up for it. The word, you know, I hate to be generic, you know, the aloha that is shared, but that's just something that's lived and learned through generations. We all grew up with generations. We're on an island. We got to take care of each other. So we only got us. So that's pretty much, I think, how that is nurtured. And then that is shown through the art of hip hop, through the culture of hip hop. Only expands and makes it exponential. Hawaii, the Hawaiian culture, hip hop culture,
Yeah.
peace, love, unity, having fun, combined with Hawaii's aloha culture.
Oh,
I mean, and I think that's what you're feeling,
yeah.
right? Because I mean, when I go to the mainland, I used to fly to the mainland to get the battle culture, right? To get the edge, to get the grit, the almost like the FU, you know? Like I needed that because in Hawaii, it's like
Yeah,
everybody's nice, you know. Everybody, you know,
Yep.
and everybody's like, hey, like it's good, it's nurturing. Like, hey, you can do better. You got this.
Yeah.
And then, you know, for me, when I was growing up in the 90s, it's like, nah, I need somebody to tell me I'm not good.
Yeah.
I suck. You know what I mean? Like, to help me grow. So that's why I consciously decided I need to go to B-Boy Summit 99. I need to go to Rocksteady Reunion. Me and only one other guy from Hawaii flying to New York in 94, 97, 98, 99, not knowing nobody. Because I needed it for me to grow hip-hop. Because in Hawaii, like you said, you feel that aloha and love, you know, which is great. It's nurturing. But that's where the hip-hop edge comes in and should. And I've always had a thing with that. I don't know what about your thoughts is, you know?
I mean, the craziest thing is I grew up in the midst of like the hard, you know, hip hop.
So you say you're originally from New York?
Yeah, I'm originally from New York. You know, I moved to Boston when I was 6. But the thing was, I had no family in Boston.
Oh. Okay.
So with us moving to Boston, my mom's, you know, with my stepfather, we had a stepfather. And she was like, look, we're going to, him and my real father were always getting into arguments, you know. It was always going to become like some type of fight or something. And my mom's, he was just like, yo, we got to do something. Like, we can't have this. You know, the kids are seeing this. Like, something's going to happen.
Right.
So my stepfather was like, all right, let's move to Boston. So we moved to Boston. We was living in Brentwood, Long Island. Okay. So I'm from Long Island.
Oh, nice.
So
that's where EPMD,
Rakim, like all those guys. They all from around De La Soul.
Right, yeah.
Leaders of the New School.
Yeah, Leaders. Yep.
Public Enemy,
yeah.
Bismarcky.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys are from, you know, generally from that area. You know what I'm saying?
LI.
So the craziest thing was when we moved to Boston, we had no family.
Wow.
So we moved to a very racist city at the time.
What city?
Super racist.
What city was that?
We moved to, it was Roxbury.
And this is what year?
So I moved at 6.
Yeah, that's where LG is from Roxbury.
Yeah, but we lived in Lower Roxbury.
Right. Okay, Lower Roxbury.
Like more. Actually, we lived not too far from where LG lives now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So this is 80 or 70?
No, this is 70. Like 70. This is like 72, maybe.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
72, 70.
Right. And you have no hip-hop, b-boy, nothing yet?
No, there's nothing. There's
life.
Nothing yet. But what happened was we started going back because my mom's was like, yo, I can't do this here.
Oh,
like,
wow.
We don't have no family. We don't know anybody here.
Right.
All our family was in the Bronx and in Manhattan.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? My father's family was in Long Island.
Okay.
My mom's and my father met. My mom's just living in the Bronx.
Okay.
They met. Him and her got together. They bought a house in Long Island. You know what I'm saying? And that's how everything.
So everything was in New York.
That's why we moved. So we had no family. So we was going back and forth to the Bronx because we didn't want to go to visit my father's family.
Right.
Because we didn't want to get caught up in no fights. My mom didn't want to be around the
drama.
Yeah. You know, so we would just go to the Bronx or Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? That's where we would go. So, you know, after years, maybe after like a year, like people started noticing that we were going to New York. So then they broke into our house. We came one time.
Damn.
We would go for the weekend. Every weekend we would go to New York. One weekend we came back, and our house was ransacked.
Oof.
They broke in our house. So then we moved. We moved to a different neighborhood.
Right.
We started going back to New York every weekend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we had no family. We're in a place where at the time it was more black people and white people.
Right.
And it was super racist. We were like the only Spanish people, so there wasn't like that many Spanish people in Boston yet.
Wow.
You know, it wasn't like a lot. So.
And you're catching a bus too, or
no? My
train?
father had a car. My stepfather
drive.
had a car. Yeah, we would drive. We would drive. It's only like 3 hours away from.
Okay. It's not bad.
So it's not bad. You know what I'm saying?
So you're moving around, and people are noticing your.
So no, we moved. And then once they see us going away, like we're packing our bags, leaving, they're like, oh, okay, these people they're doing something. And then, you know, they would come talk to us. Where y'all from? Oh, y'all New York? Oh, get a little friendly. Yeah. Oh, yeah, y'all going to New York? Okay. Next thing you know, they broke into our house again. They did it like 3 times to us. You know what I'm saying? Then we moved to a different neighborhood.
Because your ethnic background is are you Puerto Rican?
Half Puerto Rican, half Dominican.
Okay.
My father was Puerto Rican, my mom's
And at that time, it was just black and white. Wow.
Mostly black and white. So then we moved to a different neighborhood. And then, you know, we tried not to make friends.
Right.
But, you know, them seeing us packing our bags, leaving for the weekend, they broke in our house. At that point, we was just like, we can't do this no more.
Yeah.
And then we started having our family come visit us.
Oh, okay.
So that's where breaking comes into us. Okay. But at the time, when I was a kid, like, me and my brother we used to watch TV and watch the Jackson 5 was like our heroes.
Right.
So me and my brother were the Jackson 2. So we would do all the Jackson 5 routines
Nice.
in front of my family. Like that would be like, our thing. Like
Yeah.
like our aunts and uncles would be like, "Yo, do your little show."
Yo,
And
Lino, do your show.
We would, they would put on a dance machine, and
Right.
we'll do the whole show
Yeah.
together. So we would watch like the Jackson 5 and mimic their little show, and that was us.
Right.
And then we would dance with our aunts and uncles. My sisters would dance with my uncles, and then we would dance with.
You come from
aunts.
you had a lot of brothers and sisters?
I have 3 sisters and 1 brother.
Okay.
And I'll get to that point. So then my cousins started coming up from New York, from the Bronx. So I had a cousin named Eddie and a cousin named Chino. And they would come visit us. And they were older. They were teenagers. So they were into breaking. They were from a group called High Performance in the Bronx. So they kind of like would show us a little thing. But we weren't really serious.
Right.
About it, but we would just try it, like, whatever. Like, like, come on, come try. Because they were like real hard. This is when breaking, like, this is like 74, 75. They were really hard.
And was there anybody in your neighborhood, or you seen anybody?
No one. No
breaking
one in Boston was breaking.
What?
No one in Boston was breaking. But then they would come up. Then once, they came like a couple of times. Maybe like 3 times. Actually, they came 2 times, and then one of them came back. And he came back because my aunt used to come with him. So my aunt would bring her 2 sons with him.
Okay.
So then my other younger cousin stayed back, and she just brought the older one. So one day he went out to go to a club.
Right.
And on his way home, like I said, it was like a bunch of white teenagers jumped and beat the hell out of him.
What?
So then they stopped coming. You know what I'm saying? They beat him up, like just beat him down, jumped him and beat him down. So then Eddie stopped coming. You know what I'm saying? Chino wasn't coming back. Like, they were just like, we're not coming. My aunt would come and visit us.
Wow.
So then we started like going on our own. Like not with my mom. Mom would stay. We couldn't leave the house.
Yeah, you couldn't leave. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we would like go with because then like other cousins started coming up, and they would go back, and we would go back with them.
Right.
And visit the family, and then I started seeing breaking on the streets in New York. You know what I'm saying? Because then the craziest thing is we had family then started moving from New York to Boston.
Okay.
And then we had family moving from Dominican Republic to Boston.
Wow.
And then we had an uncle who had just bought a house. He was like a tailor.
Yeah.
After that, we found out he was more than that. He was doing other side hustles.
He was a tailor.
He was a tailor on a different note. But he ended up just doing his thing. He bought a house, and then we ended up moving into his house.
Okay.
Then
same neighborhood? Is it Roxbury or
no? This was Dorchester.
Dorchester.
This was in Dorchester.
Apologize, I know nothing about Boston, so
so
I'm learning. We all learning.
This is Dorchester.
Okay.
This is where Dorchester's where RSO, Benzino, those guys
are from. Nice.
And it's crazy because this neighborhood's like wild. So we lived on he bought a house on the white side.
Okay.
Of Dorchester. The street called Westville. Around that time was probably like around 76.
Right.
Around 76.
He was the only Dominican or only
Dominican.
Brown,
he was Dominican.
Brown
he was
skin.
Dominican. So then he moved us in. He moved his sister on the 3rd floor.
Okay.
She had 2 sons.
Was it like a brownstone?
No, it was just a house. A house. Three-story house. 3-story house.
So, 3-story house.
Yeah, so he, we lived on the 1st floor.
Okay.
He lived on the 2nd floor.
Right.
He had 3 kids. My mom's had 4 kids. So I had my sister lived in the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
So we ended up moving there, but then just to cut it quick, just get right to the point. We started going to school.
Right.
Going to school, we used to have to fight all the white kids.
Wow.
Got to school, we had to fight all the black kids.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was because it wasn't like Spanish wasn't a big thing. It wasn't
Interesting.
There wasn't like that many Spanish people.
But in New York, Contrast in New York, it was the norm. Black,
New
white,
York,
Dominican,
there was everything. That was a
Jamaican,
different. It was like
everything.
we grew up, you know, even growing up in Boston, we really didn't grow up. We went to school.
Wow,
and
I
whatever.
didn't know
But-
that segregation was
Oh, it
still
was
prevalent
Crazy.
in the late
Yo,
70s.
I'm gonna tell you the craziest thing that ever happened. When we first moved, we moved to Boston. We lived in Roxbury, like lower parts of Roxbury,
Right.
kind of South Boston, because we lived off of Dudley Street. Dudley Street, you go, it's Columbia Point, and there's a beach there, South Boston Beach. In the summertime, my stepfather took us there,
Right.
and it was all white people. That beach you can't even go to; you get killed. But we were kids. My stepfather and my mom's brought us to that beach as kids. We're the only Hispanics. There's all nothing but white people looking at us crazy. We ended up leaving,
Okay.
and we went and told the people that my father's friends, who we kind of like moved in for a couple of weeks.
Right.
We told them we went to that beach. They were like, "You're crazy. You're lucky you didn't get killed.
Damn.
You can't even go over there. No colored people can go over there." We were like, "What?"
What?
Yeah, it was
That's
crazy. It was that crazy.
At a
Oh, man.
beach.
Look, dude, I'm gonna tell you, Boston, South Boston, and Charlestown High, where I went to school, was
Right.
like the craziest, like racist people ever. And like the busing. Look up South Boston and Charlestown. Look up busing. You'd be surprised at how racist.
What is busing?
Like catching the bus.
Oh, catching the
what
bus.
they did was, they took all the black and brown
In one bus.
and kids and put us in schools where they were all white schools.
Oh, okay.
So like South Boston was all white.
They did it to integrate, to like
They tried to integrate it. They tried,
Right,
to
but it didn't
integrate
work.
Oh, it had to work. They made it work.
I mean, it made it work, but
it made it worse for us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we had to go through a lot just to go to school. You know, but that's how it was at that time. It was real racist. You know, so we would have to fight. Then we would fight the black kids, and then we would come home. You know, worst come to worst, we started like skateboarding.
Right.
Me and my brother was like really, really good. We started skateboarding, started getting along with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, because my brother was like amazing, and I just followed him. He was a year younger than me, but he was like super amazing. Everything he touched.
When you real quick, when you skated, was there other people like
Skateboarding.
Was there like white guys, black
Yeah,
guys?
it
It was
was-
cool though, because skateboarding kind of brought you together.
Well, it was if you skateboarded,
Yeah.
you know, it was like, oh, he's skateboarding, all right, you know.
Oh, okay.
We'll
Oh,
let
so
him-
they're still.
Well, I mean, he lives here.
Yeah,
what are we
yeah.
gonna do? You know
Right,
what I'm
right.
saying? That this guy bought the house.
Yeah.
The whole family's here. They ain't
Right.
going. Then my other uncle bought a house in front.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So now there's two Spanish families.
Right. In this
You know.
predominantly white neighborhood.
And then this black kid moved in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they moved into an apartment. So now there's a black kid, and then a mulatto kid came.
Right.
The mulatto kid came from a different neighborhood, but he came from a white neighborhood.
Okay.
He was like racist against us.
What?
Yeah, he was racist against us.
That's-
So it was just
that's
like,
crazy.
it was crazy.
So you're skateboarding with your brother. He was good.
So then
and-
we kind of
yeah.
like was started getting better at skateboarding, and then they started showing us love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then we ended up. My stepfather was crazy. We ended up moving. He was a maniac. He was like very abusive to us.
Right, right.
My mom's. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up. My mom's was like, "Yo, we can't live with this guy anymore."
Right.
So she spoke to some people. We ended up basically escaping for like a year, going to Lawrence, Massachusetts. For
Okay.
like a year, because it was crazy. Because the story, you know, is kind of wild. But what happened was, we were trying to get away.
Right.
So she had talked to these people. So my father went to New York. You know, my stepfather went
Right.
to New York one weekend. He was like, "Yo, let's go to New York," and we were like, "Nah, we're gonna chill. We don't want to go. The kids got some stuff to do.
Yeah.
This and that." So he went to New York. So then, when he went to New York, we ended up leaving. We went and stayed in the projects in the Columbia Point projects. Back then it was like a kind of abandoned. It was like buildings, like
Dang.
12, 15-story high buildings, you know, and she got some people to put us up in one of the apartments.
Right.
So he came home that week. He came home that week after the weekend, and we were gone.
Right.
So he was asking my uncle, like, "Yo, where's Vicky at? Like, where's my mom?"
Right.
And he was like, "Oh, we don't know." But my mom told him to say that to him.
Yeah.
So he stayed the whole week. We didn't come back that whole week.
Wow.
We stayed in that place for the whole week, and then he freaking went back to New York because he knew that's where we was gonna go. We thought that's where we would go. We came back, got all our stuff, and then we went. She had a friend in Lawrence, Massachusetts. Went and stayed with her for like a year.
Right. How far is Lawrence from?
Like 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
45 minutes from Boston.
Right.
We went and stayed there for maybe 8 months.
Wow. How old were you?
He came back. I was a kid.
You're still a kid.
I was probably like 8. You know what I'm saying? 8, 9. I moved there. No, I was probably like 9. Actually, I was like 9.
So no dancing yet. Just
no, we were still dancing.
You were dancing, okay.
At that time, like there were dance moves.
Right.
Like you used to do street dances, like
right.
street style dances.
Yeah.
So we moved, and then we moved back, and that's when things started.
Okay.
Like when we moved back, we were there for like 8 months. We moved back, and then we got into we moved into this neighborhood where it was like more, people were like. Had radios.
Yeah.
It reminded us more of New York, even though they were houses.
Right.
They weren't buildings. They weren't used, but more people into funk. That's when we started getting into funk. Started looking at.
Did you start seeing more people dancing, breaking?
No, it wasn't.
Popping.
It wasn't breaking. They weren't.
What?
We were just watching breaking on Soul Train.
Okay.
We were watching Soul Train. That's what we were watching was Soul
So
Train.
unless you had it's kind of like which is weird because in contrast to Hawaii, we're an island. So, I mean, there's stories of crazy legs coming over.
Yeah.
You're right. And people's military coming over, bringing music. Yeah. People's uncles or older brothers going to the military, coming over. That's how we learned a lot of it. So it's weird that you're literally 2-3 hours away from New York, but still it didn't reach Boston yet.
Well, hip hop wasn't really big. Even in New York, it wasn't big.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like 1973 was like certain boroughs that had it.
Right.
Like you heard, it was mostly people going to parties in here. It wasn't like people making tapes.
Right.
People didn't stop making tapes till later.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like those tapes weren't made till
we're talking like
this is like 78, 77.
Right.
77, 76. Like, there's not a lot going on. Like you hearing these, but no one's recording this till like. I think the first like things we heard was like in the 80s was the first time I heard like a tape out of New York. Wow. And I was going to New York all the time. I was seeing people breaking all the time on the street in New York. Like that's the only element I saw was breaking. But even on the radio, it wasn't a lot of rap songs. It wasn't none. It was mostly funk.
Yeah.
Funk and soul that was playing.
Right.
The first song that I heard on actually the first rap I ever heard was Nasty Rap by what is this?
I see him.
Dolomite.
Yeah, Dolomite. Okay.
Dolomite. That's the first and it was mad crazy because it was my one of my good friends' older brothers who was like, listen to this. And he played the whole album for us. And we were just tripping out like, yo.
Bugged out.
We were bugging out because it was a bugged out album. That was like the first rap I ever heard.
Yeah, he's nasty.
The second rap I ever heard was on one of, I think it was on the Gap, one of the Gap bands.
James Cole talked about that.
Yeah. That was the first rap I ever heard besides that. You know what I'm saying? And then, then we heard Rapper's Delight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But Rapper's Delight came out in 1979. Then, other groups, Crash Crew, we started hearing Crash Crew. We started hearing Fearless 4, Treacherous 3. At that time, we was going to the store and buying, 12 inches.
Right.
Because they had a store, and we were kind of like going to, at first we started, I started buying like 12 inches and 45s when I was young.
Right.
45s is only 10 cents. We would go buy, you know, so we heard a record on the radio, we would go buy that.
Buy instantly, yeah.
You know, we had the big casket that looked like that. with the equipment in it, with the turntable.
The turntable and the receiver
radio.
and everything. TV.
Yeah, the big casket looked just like that.
So when did you start like breaking?
So what happened was like 1978. We started like popping more. Like
Right,
77, we started seeing Soul Train.
Right.
And then
Popping and locking.
Block parties started happening.
Right.
You know, we started going to the block parties.
And you were still going back and forth from New York?
We were still going back and forth. We would hear rap in New York, you know what I'm saying? Because that was like more out there, like 78, 79. Like you hear like people playing radio, you hear like, you know, live rap. It wasn't no
recorded songs.
rap. Yeah, there wasn't no recorded songs. It was just like live rap. People were playing like live raps. And my cousins were a part of a crazy crew in New York called the Ball Busters.
The Ball Busters.
They used to beef with Zulu. They had like mega issues, you know.
It was more of a gang or a dance?
They were a gang. They were a gang. You know, so they always had friends. They always had that connection.
Right.
Then in the Bronx, you always heard like, you know, I had family in the Bronx too, so I would go to the Bronx. So they always talked about rap. We always heard about it, but it wasn't like I was into it like that. I was a kid at the time. I was more into the funk and the soul type of thing. You know, and then 1978, you know, my younger cousin moved to Boston.
Right.
And he was from the Bronx. And then, you know, we were kind of like learning, but then we got into more popping.
Okay.
Because there was a group called the Funk Effects out of Boston that were an ill like popping crew. And then when my cousin Carlos moved up, we started practicing in his living room, breaking.
Right.
You know, so we started breaking with him. We kind of remember what Eddie and Chino taught us.
Right.
But he was a little bit iller than them. He was younger. He was our age. So he was like, yo, do it like this. Do it like this.
Right.
You got to add style. He was dope. But then he got a girlfriend. And it was a rap after
the downfall.
That. He got a girlfriend and it was a rap.
You know, that's funny because a lot of, I mean, I'm older now. So I tell a lot of B-boys or people in the scene that have talent or even like athletes. I was like, man, don't get a girlfriend if you want to do this. And it's always the case, man. Once they get that girl, or they start driving
girl, and the girl drove him crazy. He ended up moving back to New York. But the thing was that we moved to a different part of the city. We moved to Lenox. That's where TDS Mob came from. So TDS Mob, I was just telling Babu this. They actually learned at my house.
Wow.
There was a DJ. I bought Bo to host our 43rd anniversary. He met him. His name was Rusty the Toe Jam.
Okay.
So he was our manager. So when we moved, we were kind of like down with Funk Effects. My brother was. I was seriously into bikes and shit.
Right. Nice.
So I wasn't as serious as my brother. My brother was like amazing at everything. So we ended up moving to a whole different neighborhood, which is like South End, Lenox, Lower Roxbury area. And that's where TDS Mob came from. And that's I don't know if you ever heard Scratch Your Action.
Right. Try to explain to the people who TDS Mob is.
TDS Mob is Michael K., DVS, Devin Brown, and Cool Jesus. Cool Jesus was like one of the premier rappers. He was my I went to elementary school with him. But Rusty the Toe Jammer was like the premier like scratch DJ in our neighborhood.
Right.
He played break beats. He was originally you know, he was like basically a Grandmaster Flash.
Right.
From Boston.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he would go to New York. He you know, I think he was from New York too. I can't say.
Yeah.
But he had the braids, he had the leather hat, he looked just like baby Grandmaster Flash back then.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So he started managing us. We started a group called the New York Puppeteers.
Okay. Wait, New York Puppeteers?
Yeah.
In Boston?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we were from everybody like
from New
we
York.
were from New York, so people like when you're from somewhere else, that's why like even till this day I claim New York.
True.
I don't really claim Boston like that because when you're not, even if I grew up in Boston, I claim Boston too because I did so many things in Boston.
Yeah.
But you know, like people from Boston weren't really that from New York.
Right.
They ain't from Boston. Like
Right.
so
Right.
we was like, all right, we might as well just call
Own it.
ourselves the New York Puppeteers. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because everyone would be like, oh, those are the two guys from New York. Those
Right.
are the guys from New York.
Right,
So
right.
he started a group. He was a New York puppeteer first.
Okay.
And then he started a crew. And then we started doing shows. And then the Funk Effects were the ones who inspired us. So we started looking like them. So everybody would be like, y'all kind of look like the Funk Effects.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This and that. So then we started adding breaking to our stuff.
Oh, okay.
They were lockers and poppers. We were breakers and poppers.
Right.
So that's where people were like, oh, okay. Now they're on their own.
What year was that? Were you?
That was like about 80.
You guys are still
1980.
called the New York Puppeteers.
Yeah.
But when people started saying, "Hey, you guys are kind of the same, looking the same," you were like, "Hey, man, I can break. We can break. Let's."
No, so we were just like, because back then it was real hard. Like when
Right.
and the thing was our routines were different, but we just looked like them. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay,
It was
okay.
like, because they taught us, we kind of
Right.
like
Yeah.
learned from them, but we just looked like them.
Right.
So I was just like, look, we're going to have to switch this up, because back then it was like you're a biter, you're whack.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
like to your face.
Right.
That's why I like, how breaking is now, because,
Right.
back then, like a lot of people stopped breaking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we were rough on people. We were
yeah.
super rough. We were hard. Like breaking, hip hop was hard.
Yeah.
Like
I personally I like that. I like that. I came
mean,
up from that. I like it.
I think I came up from that, but I understand, because I do understand the trauma that caused too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I came up. You guys came up in a different neighborhood.
Right. Yeah.
Like I came up in New York and Boston.
Oh yeah, that's
where
totally
I
different from
had
Hawaii.
to fight, almost get killed. Like going to an event was like anxiety to the third degree.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you went to an event, you didn't know what your boys was gonna do.
Right.
You came as a neighborhood. If they did something, something was gonna happen.
It's on us, right? It's on everybody.
It's on everyone. So it was kind of rough, man. It was, so I look at it like now, like I like to see that we don't have to deal with
True.
that much, drama and trauma.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was traumatic. Like years after, like moving here made me like realize like a lot. I had to go get help at a time.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Oh,
I had
yeah.
to go see therapy.
Yeah. Oh.
And my man, like, I was explaining all this stuff to them, and they were like, "You've been through PTSD.
Oh, I bet.
You
yeah.
did this. You've been through all this." And I'm like, "What?" So now I kind of understand. Like, what I see a lot of my OG. I'm an
Yeah.
OG,
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
and a lot of my OG homies, they're still in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And they
true.
still act real crazy. I'm like, yo, you got to chill out. This ain't about you.
Yeah.
I was kind of lucky that I have my son and my nephew to help me connect with the younger generation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They were connected with the younger generation. They were young, and they were the ones who followed me and kind of would tell me how my OG homies would act,
Yeah.
how their homies would look at my homies.
Right.
And I said, okay, I'm gonna have to step back
Switch
a little bit.
Switch your approach to
I
things.
got to switch my approach, because my thing was always about the younger generation. So if I keep acting like them,
There'll be no.
I'm going to push the younger generation away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I said, you know what? I started hanging out with the younger generation more and building with them, building a relationship with them,
Right.
And, it kind of helped me out a lot more. You know what I'm saying? It helped me build like a rapport, like
Right.
how, worldwide and just all around the States, I have a genuine relationship with the younger generation.
Right.
And that's what it's really about.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. Totally. And that's what this is about right here.
I talk to all my OGs all the time, like, yo, you need to, kind of like relax a little
Yeah.
bit. Like, it's not about you. No, but they don't show me no respect. Like this and that. I said, yo, it's not about you no more. They respect you, but you losing their respect by the way you act and the things you say to them is not cool,
A lot of older heads, they don't realize that you have to earn those youth, the respect of the youths again. It's not that they don't respect you. It's just that, it's a different time. You got to like earn their respect. It doesn't mean you got to like cower down to them.
No,
it's just no. You got to earn the respect of the youth. You know what I mean?
I mean, the thing is you got to respect everyone. You know what I'm saying? And just because you did something years ago, and you the craziest thing is I had this conversation with Ruin,
Right.
You know, Ruin is like one of the
Ronnie
innovators. Ronnie Ruin is
Ronnie,
like one of the
LAB.
innovators.
Yep.
Yep. And I mean, he's like one of the innovators. Style
Yeah,
Elements,
definitely. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
California,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this
definitely.
kid did
Shout out to Ronnie.
mad stuff.
Yes.
And back, you know, like maybe like 4 years ago, he had left for a little while. He came back, and you know, he's seen a lot of these dancers doing all his stuff. You know, so you know,
Right.
no one is like really paying him no respect. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so he's like coming back wilding out, like yo, and I'm like, yo, like take it easy. You know, like you gotta calm down a little bit. Like,
Right,
don't
right,
act
right.
like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're still amazing. Like you still got your stuff.
Definitely.
Like you gotta, you know, treat her. So he would get online, and when you get online, it kind of pushes people back.
Right,
Even
right,
people
right.
that want to hire you,
Yeah.
they gonna think you a firecracker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they don't know
yeah.
how you're gonna show up to their events. They don't know what you're gonna say. It's like you gotta really like understand that the generation now is totally different.
It is. It is.
It's totally different, and it's not that you have to cower down to them,
Right, right.
but life is different.
Yeah.
It's not like back in the days. We have a totally different view in life now. It's totally different. Things
Yeah,
are different.
yeah.
You know, so it's crazy because I had that conversation with him, and I said this past weekend I was in LA, and and we were talking to some young guys,
Right, right.
you know, and he was like, yeah, he's a totally different person.
Right.
Now he's getting hired, he's doing all this work
that's
because
awesome.
he switched up. It's like even Crumbs was like that for a little bit, you
Right,
know,
right,
because
yeah.
they brought a lot to the table. Like
Oh.
those guys are amazing. So it's like
Crumbs, Ronnie Ruin,
you know, like they
man,
should
Remind,
be like
yeah.
getting, you know, everything, you know.
Right, right.
But you know, it's like when you start like saying certain things, and
yeah,
I understand it.
yeah.
Look, it's emotion. It's a passionate dance.
Yeah.
You know, this dance is something that is really passionate. Like, I would not be doing this
Right.
if I didn't love it the way I do. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
100%.
I'm going on 58 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still like passionate about this.
Right, right, right.
Still
right.
traveling around the world. That's like a lot. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
To
Did
be
you ever
putting-
never meet Skilroy?
Of course.
Yeah, yeah. Did you know?
Skilroy's-
Did you know of
Skilroy's my homie.
Did you know of Skilroy before you
No.
moved here?
I knew because of the rock steady thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
But when I moved here, we
Right.
always have mutual respect. Like that guy is like one of the most amazing b-boys.
Yeah.
Like he still amazes me till this day.
Yeah, he's amazing. We did a digital exclusive on Skilroy and a Homies Here feature. So if you guys want to check that out on PBS.
Kel Rock, yeah, I definitely want to see that. Kel Rock too.
Oh
is
yeah,
like another
good to see him
amazing,
back.
Like,
but PBSHawaii.org, check it out. We got to did a feature on Skilroy, a digital exclusive, and we did a feature on Homies Here. But Kel Rock, that's the homie right there.
I mean, I know so many Leonard. Like I met so many
Right, right.
b-boys here. Like older b-boys. I try to get them to come out. I try to
Yeah.
get them to. I go bug out with them.
Oh, I've been trying. I've been trying. Every time I see him, like, where you at, man?
Yeah.
You gotta come out. But
Leonard and them been coming
Yeah.
out a little bit more.
I get it, right? You get older, you know, life, responsibilities, job, everything. But real quick, let's get back to I want to know when you were with the New York Puppeteers, when did it transition to
Floorlords.
Floorlords?
So then,
And who was the original?
A year later, we met them. Like in '81, we met MBT at the time.
Okay.
MBT was a group that used to dance in the street.
What did that stand for?
Massachusetts Break Team.
Okay,
And what they would do is they would just dance in the street
right.
for money. So we went to an audition and we went on before them. So we did our little pop routine,
Right,
break
right, right.
routine, and we walked off. When we walked off, they were like, yo, they were sitting next to us. We didn't know who they were.
Right.
And they were like, yo, you guys are dope. Like we seen them at like
Right, right.
at like skating rings. You know, we would do circles.
Yeah.
We would jump out and do a couple of moves, you know, like one or two of them.
Right.
You know, we would see it at block parties. You know, we would see them, a couple of them like popping, but we see them as a group. They jumped after us. They were like, yo, you guys are fresh. You guys are fresh. And that was I forgot, like what
Words
terminology
back
we
then,
used.
yeah.
So we was like, oh shoot, okay, they're giving us respect, you know,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
give them respect. So we watched them. They just went out and did solos.
Right.
After they walked off, we was like, all right, we're gonna leave. So we ended up leaving with them. The guy, Mad, he's like one of the co-founders.
Right.
Cisco, Mad, this guy named Super Steve, Gumby, and Tron.
Okay.
It was like 5 of them, and it was 3 of us. So they were like, we were walking, and they were like, "Yo, you want to go make some money?" So we were like, "Make some money?" Making money back then was like selling drugs in my neighborhood.
Right.
So we were like, "Oh nah, we good with that." Like, no, we don't want to go. So they were like, "Nah, come with us," and they went to the train station. It's downtown Boston. The name of the station was Park Street Station. So they were like, "Come check us out," and then we went down and we snuck into the train. They were like, "Come with us." We snuck into the train. We went downstairs, and they had a radio with them. They started making money. So like 10 minutes, they made like $50 a piece. It was like 5 of them. So we were like, "What? Yo, we want to be down." So then we started dancing with them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Making money.
Love it.
I'm like probably like 13.
Okay.
My brother's like 12.
What year was this? 89? I mean,
no, this is 80.
80.
This is 81. This is 81.
89, 81, yeah.
So I'm like maybe 14.
Okay.
14. My brother's like 13. So we're dancing. And the other guy who was with us too, Tony Mosby, he's the other member of the New York Puppeteers. So we started dancing every day. We started hanging out with them. After school, we go downtown and dance. They kicked us out of the train station. We started going. We went to Faneuil Hall. We started dancing at Faneuil Hall.
Right.
Started making money with them. You know, we would go to the airport. Like, we were just trying to find any way we could make money.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We went to the airport, started dancing, because the airport had the smooth floor. So we wanted to go do spins and do all this stuff, you know. And then my brother and them started making money. So then they started hanging out in my neighborhood.
Right.
With all the you know, the street cats, and that. You know, so the thing about it was, we're going to get back to the TDS mob thing, was, you know, they were kind of like in our neighborhood, just kids. So we would come to the neighborhood. Devin, who he had a crew, he had a popping crew called TDS. They were called Chain Reaction.
Okay.
They were a popping crew.
Right.
And we used to go against them, but we kind of like had a talent show, and we beat them. They kind of broke up after that. But then our manager at the time was Rusty the Toe Jammer. So Rusty the Toe Jammer taught us how to DJ.
Okay.
And then he had a homie from New York, another guy moved up from New York. His name was Larry D. Oh. He would come to our house and teach us. He was dope at DJing. He was amazing dope. MC and a graph writer. He was doing pieces. Their group was called the Short Shot 4. And it was Larry D, Dave Watts, Reggie Leanskee, and Rusty the Toe Jammer. So they had a rap crew, you know what I'm saying? And Cool Jesus was my homie. He used to pop too, but he wasn't really serious.
Was Cool Jesus a Latin dude?
Nah, he's black. He's black. He's light-skinned black.
That's like the dopest name.
Yeah.
Cool Jesus. Anyway, keep going.
So at the time, you know, we were practicing, you know, at the time I started making our like dancing the street tapes.
Oh, nice.
Because we had like, they would just put on like anything. So I started, I was a DJ. So I would make all our tapes to go hit. My brother and them started hanging out in my neighborhood, started drinking, started smoking weed.
Right.
I was making money.
Yeah.
I was buying sneakers every day, because we were making like $250 a day.
Ooh,
at like 14 years old. Make it.
Wait, so your older brother that you looked up to that has...
No, but he was younger.
Oh, he's younger.
Yeah. He was 1 year younger than me. But he was more talented than me. But he just was like...
That's the one that could skateboard, do everything.
My man was amazing. He
started getting into the streets.
He plays like 10 instruments.
Well, he started getting more into the streets.
He rapped in Spanish and English. He started rapping with Cool Jesus.
What? Okay.
They both... Cool Jesus, he inspired Cool Jesus to rap. You know.
Wow.
So he was like super talented. But the thing about it was... he started hanging out. So I started hanging out more with MBT. So they were like, yo, you should just get down with us. Like, they're not even coming no more. Because what made us make more money was that we would come and do routines. They didn't have routines.
Right.
So we would do routines and do solos.
Right.
So then I started making up routines with them.
So you're making these mixtapes, your performance tapes?
Yeah, I'm making the tapes now.
You guys got routines, you got solos.
Now I'm making up routines with them. My brother and them is not coming as much. So I'm dancing with them now. So that's how the Floorlords came about. You know, they came to me, they were like, yo, we should, and I was like, yo, if you know, back then it was loyalty.
Right.
It was like loyalty. Like, I was a New York puppeteer. No matter if I was making money with them,
right,
I was a New York puppeteer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that was me. And you know, it was cool. Like we had no beef, but the thing was that you know, like my brother and them was hanging out. They weren't really serious. You know,
Right,
they was
right.
smoking weed. They started drinking. I was doing something else. I was making money with these guys.
Yeah, yeah.
They would come make $50 and leave. 'Cause
Right.
that's all they needed to go smoke and drink.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, hell no, I'm leaving this. I'm going to get me a BVD,
Yeah.
some Lees,
Yeah.
some Pumas.
Nice.
You know, that's how I was. Some Pro Kids or whatever. Like every day, that was me. And I was able to
crazy.
eat McDonald's every day.
Right.
So I was good. I was not leaving that alone.
Yeah.
you know? And then
So when did where did the name Floorlords come into play, and like when did it start moving
right
into
there,
breaking?
So they was like, you should just get down with us.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, nah, like if we come up with a different name. And a lot of the other dudes started doing the same thing, but they
Right.
was getting high around us. They was smoking weed,
Okay.
getting high around us. So and they weren't really serious. So I
Right.
was like, if we want to get serious, at this time the scene was getting bigger and better.
Yeah,
81.
yeah.
Like there were
Yeah.
other dancers that were getting serious. So I was like, we come together and create something new. I'll get down with y'all, you know. And then Cisco and this other guy named Dave, who I didn't even know. I didn't even know these guys.
Right,
They had
right.
like some other dudes in some other town that was breaking. And Cisco and Dave came up with the name. Like Cisco came up with Floor,
Right.
and the other guy named Dave came up with Lords. And that's how we became the Floorlords crew.
And that started in 1981.
Yeah, that started in 1981. But we were still doing shows with
Right,
Real
right.
Puppeteers.
Yeah.
So 1983, like, you know, I would do shows with them, but I would go dance with them in the street, you know, and then, you know, people started making fun of us in the street, like, because, you know, people started, like, booking us to do shows.
Right. Oh,
You know what I'm saying? From the street, because we had routines.
Yeah,
now
yeah.
we're looking professional now.
yeah.
So people are hiring us to do shows. So I remember one time, it's like probably like 1980, 85 at the time, because we met, we started going to all the different clubs.
Right.
And then we ended up meeting Float from Incredible Breakers. Float
Okay,
and
yeah,
Chino. They
yeah.
ended up burning the shit out of us in like 1983.
Crazy.
Burnt the hell out of
Incredible Breakers
us. Incredible
from
Breakers
Boston.
from New York.
from New York.
They
Okay.
came from New York and smashed.
And eventually they got down with Floorlords.
Well, eventually we stopped because we was going back and forth because we had a rival crew called the Unique Dominoes.
Okay.
And they were going to New York, and they would come back and battle us. And this was like when it was like hard. Like when I mean like you see me over there, like you're gonna come with your radio anywhere you at. It was a battle,
Right.
and it was like you had the battle. It was like dudes in your face, like yo, like you whack.
Love it. I love
You know,
it.
it was hard. It was like
You don't miss that though. That's 'cause you don't miss that.
after realizing like after speaking to people and actually
Right.
like talking to a therapist it's not cool, man. It wasn't cool. You know that it brought us to
Right.
the talent that
Right,
we have. But when you look at the damage that it did after, like because
True.
you brought that to other people. Other people, like I look at it like this. You know, I had a real loud mouth, so I was
Right.
coming at people like
I
hard.
would love to know a young.
I was
DJ
coming at people
Leanskee.
real hard, yelling at people.
Right.
People were quitting, breaking. Like we was battling dudes, coming at dudes real hard. You know, when you look at it, like man, like yo, there's a lot of people that quit because of me.
Wow.
I did a lot of things that
Well,
I'm
maybe
not
it wasn't
happy
meant.
about.
Maybe it wasn't meant for them to keep breaking.
Yeah, but you know, like if you really do the homework, like you really like I've studied this.
Right.
You know, my son got a book coming out,
Nice.
which is about you know, his life, but it
Yeah.
also has to do with mental health.
Awesome.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you kind of like really study like what we've done. Like if you was to scream at your kids right
Yeah,
now,
no, you're right.
you know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
Like it wouldn't. This was us like coming at people hard. Like it made us who we are,
Right.
but we don't got to stay there.
True.
We adults
True.
now. You know what I'm
How's
saying?
it feel to have your son kind of take the reins and kind of make his own way?
I
being
mean,
a DJ.
I'm a proud father, proud uncle, you know, of many.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a proud person, man. I'm really proud that they took it to the next level.
Right.
You know, my dream wasn't to be the best. My dream was to share
Wait, real quick. Who's your son?
DJ, B-boy DJ Lean Rock.
Right.
Yeah. And producer. He
Right.
produces.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, definitely.
Now he works with Red Bull. He does. He manages like a bunch of the dancers from the
That's
B-boys,
awesome.
B-girls from America, and a bunch of the hip hop, like all styles dancers.
Right.
He also helps coordinate events like BC1. It's a team of them. It's
Right.
When you start working with Red Bull, it's a whole bunch of people.
Right.
Like John Jay. I mean, they have it's a corporation, so there's a whole.
Because you've been there from the
squad.
beginning of it all, from
Yeah.
BC1, all that. Were you? Did they ask you for your guidance or anything with those events, or
No. Like now, I do like some consulting.
Consulting.
Work. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But back then, it was just like Red Bull was just in our neighborhoods
Right.
trying to give. So I've been working with Red Bull for over 20 years.
wow?
You know what I'm saying?
Real quick before we wrap this up, I want to get your opinion on like the Olympics. Like what is your thoughts on the Olympics overall for b-boying and b-girls?
Ah, man. I think the people who were in it, the
Right.
people who didn't get to shine, did amazing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think the event was put together right. I don't think it was promoted right. But I get it. The people who are running everything, they don't come from our culture.
Right,
they don't
right,
understand
right.
how to promote how we know how to promote. Yeah, there were people that were b-boys that were connected with
Right,
those
right,
people. And I'm not gonna get into no names. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
you
We're
know
good.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Ballroom Association doesn't really have.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
They don't really have a connection with the b-boy
Most
culture.
definitely.
And they're the ones who were kind of like running everything, putting events together. I don't think that they had the experience.
Right.
I think it should have been more the b-boys, but that's our own fault.
Yeah.
A lot of the elders in the b-boy community should have had a federation. We should have been a little bit more together, because we would have been more in control.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I didn't get involved.
Okay.
People would want me to get involved
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
beginning, but
I
I
would've
didn't
thought
want to.
you-
I didn't want to get involved because I already knew my passion for this is way too hard,
Right.
and I didn't want the old Lino to come out arguing over something that I'm too
Yeah.
passionate about,
Right.
and having some people who don't understand the dance taking control of our
Right.
dance. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I can't be involved. I could help. I'll support you. I'll push you guys. You know what I'm saying? I'll support the dancers. But I couldn't get involved because this is my life. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just didn't want to be involved with that.
So what are some things that you would like to see done to help further?
I mean, I think for us as a community, we really need to start taking control of our own community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we need to create our own federation, our own unions, our own, so we can start taking more control. We've been talking. I'm one of the pillars in the community that wants to help, who's connected with the younger and the older generation.
Yeah, definitely.
That talk to a bunch of the older guys and the younger guys. But no one's talking. So, I only could do what I could do. I can't do everything by myself.
Right, yeah.
So I know anyone else who wants to do it, they can't do it by themselves. We need the whole community to do it.
Definitely.
So it's about us really taking control.
Right.
So
what are some things in Hawaii you think we could do for our community? Hip hop and b-boy community.
Hawaii's growing as it is. I mean, I think we need to figure out how to get more support from the city.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think more support from, either corporations, local, businesses. Because, I mean, this scene is the best scene in the world, I think.
Right.
I think the younger generation here, the dancers here, it's not even just about the dancers. You have the families.
Right.
So you have mothers, fathers,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Uncles, aunts,
Yeah.
grandmas. Like everyone here supports the community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now we just need, more organizations, nonprofits, more foundations to really help the scene, push it to the next level, because we do have the best scene.
Right.
Like the scene, people want to, they're dying to come here.
Yeah, definitely.
And the more the people that come here, the better the dancers get. When these dancers leave. Like Jack and them just went. They just won a big event in San Francisco.
Okay.
The kids, Mana, Euban, and Levi just won another event, another huge event in
Seattle.
In Seattle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like these kids, Jack has been winning event. He just came from Canada.
Yeah.
You know, winning an event like twice.
Right.
You know, like Jack is like one of the most amazing dancers. Ark is like a brain. You know, he's like the brain. He's like the connection to.
How come Jack didn't get into the Olympics? I was thinking, did he miss a qualifier or
no? It was just when it first started, it was just all over the place.
It was all over. Okay.
Like they weren't really
right.
They weren't organized.
Okay.
You know, so
when I was watching, I was like, man, Jack could have won this.
You know, it was just really unorganized. People weren't really.
From what you said, it looks like we're learning on the world stage.
The thing is what I was saying earlier.
Right.
It was like, you know, if they had a sponsor that would fly Jack out everywhere, and put him up, like Jack had to come out of his own pocket.
Yeah, most of the time, all these B-boys and B-girls,
So it's like, you know, now they're starting to get their winning competition. They're starting to get flown out for competition.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Jack's been doing that. Ark's been doing that. You know, other older members been doing that. You know, so now we're just trying to like bring, like right now this month we're going to Japan. We're doing
nice
in the summer in Japan.
Ooh.
There's probably like 15 b-boys coming from Hawaii going to Japan. You know, 15 to 12, maybe even more are coming out there with us.
Right.
You know, so it's a good thing that they travel because they see what's out there. They get better.
Yeah, definitely.
The more you travel, the more you see, you get better. The more people come here, the more they see other people, the better they get.
Right.
And no one has a scene like Hawaii. Like, no one has a loving community that pushes everyone to get better.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Everyone's divided in other cities. Like, crews are
even in 2024, when you go to other cities, there's still a lot of division.
There's a lot of division. Every crew in Hawaii gets along.
It's true.
Every crew in other cities is always like some type of, even people in their own crews is always something. You know what I'm saying? In your own crew, Hawaii is not like that. Everyone is like together. Everyone's
right.
The Aloha spirit is just on a different level here.
Right.
You know, it's just on a different level. You know, and with 808 also bringing, you know, showing love to all the other like b-boy crews, giving them awards, like. There's no one doing stuff like that. You know, thanks to Ark and Hijack and Bo and the rest of the like 808 Breakers, there's no one doing that.
Yeah, true.
You know, like there's no one doing that. You know, so the next generation here is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It's just about those doors opening up and
them walking through it.
But, you know, of the community and not just their mothers and fathers, like, you know, foundations, corporations,
right.
Like get behind the kids here and pushing them.
Right.
You know, like you need that. Like back home, I have that. You know what I'm saying? I have to go outside of Hawaii to get sponsors to do events
in Hawaii.
You know, and I'm happy that I have those resources. Like I'm lucky that I've been doing it, you know, for so many years that I have resources.
How long you been doing it?
I've been doing events since 1998.
98. That's what, 22, 21? I don't know. I started like Sleepers 97, so we're right there.
Yeah, so, you know, I've been doing like heavy.
Yeah.
You know, like big events since then, you know. So for me, it's like my life. I was doing little small events, you know, since like
26 years.
Yeah.
19.
But it's my life.
It's that long.
Yeah.
It is our life. It's funny. I don't know the numbers though. Like when someone say a number, I can't even tell you.
I don't even look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Like for me, this is my life. Like
it ain't stopping.
Yeah. You know.
But on a party notes, we got to wrap this up. You have anything lasting to say to Hawaii, to Boston, to New York?
I just want to say aloha. Thank you for showing me love, you know what I'm saying, and having me be a part of this community.
Right.
You know, that's all I can really say. All I can say is thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm blessed to be here. You know, I'm at peace here in Hawaii. You know, people ask me, you know, when are you gonna move? I go back home all the time, and people are like, yo, we got this opportunity, we got this money. I'm like, I don't even care about none of that. I'm at peace where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm at peace. I don't need. And Hawaii has showed me so much, has like really educated me in life.
Right.
You know, in all different ways, and you can't repay that. You know what I'm saying? Changed me to be a better person, help me be a better person. You know, and you can't ask more than that.
Yeah.
You can't ask.
And on that note, we'd like to thank DJ Leanskee for blessing ALANUI MELE Hawaii hip-hop history on PBS Hawaii. This is your host, Kavet the Catalyst. All right, and we out. ALANUI MELE Hawaii hip-hop history, PBS Hawaii. Peace.